I know. I'm late. They like, Sino, where you been? Well, whew, where I been, where I been. Man, that's a very interesting story. Here's an even better one. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. What's up, Don? What's up, man? Appreciate you. Wow. Yeah, it's been crazy the last couple of days. Now, today was an even more insane fresh cut. Oh no, that's just the light coming from up top. I was like, I need to get back in the shop. But a lot of people say Diddy's never getting out of jail, and they're going on this whole diatribe of tearing down Sean Diddy Combs again. And it's at this point, it's like, what are you doing? Like, we're going to talk about all these crazy claims that was made earlier, all the stuff that was going on, but something shocking and surprising happened in court today from the lawyers that I didn't even expect. And I think this happened during the discussion and the deliberation between the government and the defense behind the scenes, because they were pushing for a PSR rather, was like a probation paperwork where they go and go through a hearing where they collect all the evidence, they interview, and this was supposed to happen within, you know, by August. He was going to have all of this by August the 29th. They were pushing for that. We do know that the prosecution is asking for 5 years for Diddy. That was their suggestion to the judge, that they want Diddy to do it 5 years. So, yeah, they're suggesting 5 years. Diddy's team was suggesting anywhere from 21 to 27 months or time served, and time served it's up to the judge now to make this decision on this ruling, which I think with the new thing that happened today, that that was going to be the case. Now, why you didn't hear from me earlier? Well, now that I could tell everybody, it was the Superman movie special preview for all of the media and the people who have access. We were allowed to watch Superman. So we did a review for it on our Screen Ping channel, so it's already out. Absolutely. It's non-spoiler, so I did the review. We just did that, finished that about 10, 15 minutes ago, so that's up there. And I haven't really been in this house. I did the Kendrick Perkins thing. You seen that video? That was from earlier before I left. And now here we are. I'm waiting for the spoiler version. Yeah, I saw you over there. Now, let's get to this. Today's meeting was only like, what, 20 something, like not even 20 minutes. It was 2 minutes. 2 minutes tops. Because if you look at all the paperwork that was filed, they came along and they made a change. People looking like, what is that? They made a change in what they were doing. The whole direction changed. They shifted. Instead of doing what they were on course to do, they decided to change it up. What was up became down. What was down became up. Now they went back to the original date and they both agreed on this. The government and the defense both agreed on October the 3rd now is the sentencing date. So this tells me an agreement was made between the two that has not been made public. I don't know what that agreement is, but for them to shift from pushing for August and having to expedite it to not having it expedited anymore, to going with the October 3rd court date, it's telling me that they've made an agreement somewhere with the government. And I believe that this is going to be a time served situation now. And he will be released. Hell, I know the whole case will be over by October the 3rd. That's it. But he won't have to worry about this case any further. Now, I think he'll have it like file some paperwork to get it removed. Later, the government just wants to, save some face because they got humiliated and ran through the mud and they didn't look good at all. So the government, that's why I said the defense, because it didn't make any sense. You went in with a plan, and then you were conducting that plan. You sent the paperwork over, and like, okay, we finna ask for this, and this is what's gonna happen. Then all of a sudden, it's waived, and the government, AUSA Johnson, something happened behind the scenes. And some sort of deal was struck. We're not privy to know what it is. But all we know is that they both were in agreement. We all have that information public now. They're both in agreement on the sentencing being on the original date of October the 3rd, which was totally what they were against earlier. So there is a reason for that. Get Clayton Howard on my show. Um, if Clayton Howard wants to come over here, we'll definitely have that discussion. If he wants to come and do that. I'm not sure he wants to, but if he wants to, he can reach out and make that happen. I'll be more than happy to interview him. Well, when you see situations get out of line or go askew. I've seen a lot of situations go in a different scenario, like a different wave, a different avenue, a different setting. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the course of action they took against Sean Diddy Combs, then you'll understand why people feel the way they do. Diddy paid somebody. I mean, what? How much would you pay for something like that? You're saying he paid somebody. Who would he pay, and how much? How would that be even on the table? So, in the middle of all of this, right, to just throw more shade, here comes another civil charge. Some Jane Doe person comes out of nowhere saying that Diddy pleasured himself and climaxed into a Biggie Small shirt in a warehouse that was selling Biggie's shirts. It's just so crazy, man. It's just so crazy. Right. How many lascivious claims are going to be made about Sean Diddy Combs? Everybody's going to come out and be like, I saw Diddy one time. He was at a CVS store. He came out and he unzipped his pants right in front of me. He said, hey, I want you to look at me. I said, why? He was like, take that, take that. And he just started climaxing everywhere. Everybody's gonna come up with something crazy now because they have no more shame and embarrassment of how ridiculous their claims are. They don't even care. They just want to say it. Dude, gonna be Diddy attacked me, man. I was having dreams. Now I can't sleep because of that trial, man, and hearing all that stuff about what he did, man. I went to sleep. I had a dream, and Diddy's in my dreams just chasing me everywhere I go. To yelling, take that, take that, take that. Man, I haven't been getting sleep. My PTSD, is acting up, and I got to be on medication. And this is mental terrorism. It's like these people are nuts. I don't know what lascivious means. Definitely, I do know what lascivious means. These crime. This is a situation of sexual nature, right? Yeah. Diddy. They've made claims about Diddy in sexual ways, right? That's what lascivious is, dog. I mean, I've said lascivious plenty of times before, but I don't really have a reason to use lascivious a lot until it gets into this situation here. Do you know what lascivious means? A woman suing for $10.2 trillion there. That's crazy. I know. It's like all these civil claims will be thrown out of court. will be knocked out of court, and it's an abuse of the crime system, and it needs to be fixed because people could just walk around and just keep creating fake and false claims and charges. Well, when you start getting into a ego complex, that's when other people start to see that there is a domino effect that happens when people are trying to create their own situation. Sean Diddy Combs in this lawsuit, could he find a way to get out of jail and all of this? Diddy is in jail right now because of a judge, the system. They don't want to look like they lost when they lost. They trying to spin it any which way they can, but it doesn't make a difference because at the end of that day, they lost. Yeah, so on the Patreon, I will be exposing all of it. See, that's the beauty of the Patreon. I get to expose and tell people everything that's going on. So it's going to definitely expose the entire circus that's going on. Well, courts have always been political. What you're finding out is how many people are on the Ferris wheel going around in a circle, and that's programmed by what they see in social media because they're not glued to this. You see, right there, people are already making the wrong idea reality. Sean Diddy Combs isn't the problem here that people need to be concerned about. What you need to be concerned about is the other viruses that are out there that are destroying the very fabric in which you work. Diddy pissed some people off who are very powerful. And what they're doing is they're really exposing their hand because everyone is starting to see this thing's a little bit bigger than what we thought. Now, when you start thinking about all of the things that I'm getting ready to tell you right now that we're going to go into on the Patreon. Remember, I brought up Match.com, Tinder. All of these people are connected with Vivid Entertainment, Wicked Entertainment, Grinder, Reality Kings. Red Tube. All of these people are connected. You ever wonder why Ron Jeremy's in jail? And you're gonna wonder why these people, what they found Diddy guilty of, all of these people would be guilty and thrown behind bars. And they've done way worse. I'll give you one of the names right now. Good people. Just to show you in good faith what's coming on the Patreon. That's going to very much knock the doors off the hinges. Yes, happy Tuesday, what's left of it. Nathan Abrams. When you find out who Nathan Abrams is, then you start to figure it all out. Nathan Abrams. Find out who that is. Find out what he does. Find out who that is. And all of the people that I'm going to name has done just what Diddy did. Fly people out for the purposes of having sex pass into national laws and lands. They haven't been in a courtroom. They haven't been brought on charges. Nothing. Well, that's because the nature of it is off. Everything is off. It's a dirty, kinky world, and it's a lot of money in kink. And that's why they want to pursue these activities and these avenues that they go down. Now, if you start looking at people and start saying, okay, well, we're going to start evaluating human beings and their nature now because of Diddy, all these fake outrage people. These are the same people who keep talking about the land of the filth and all of this, and they the most filthiest people in the world. So these glass house people that want to judge Diddy, and they don't live righteous lives. And that's kind of ironic to me. That you're so judgmental, but yet and still, you're shown no concern, no care, nothing about any of the things that really matter to other people, only yourself. And that's alarming. Since y'all care about what Diddy does all the time, or what Diddy, like he's the first and he's the only guy, and it's always black entertainers, and it's shocking that black people, follow the bouncing tennis ball. It's like how back in the day they could never get this to work on us. Never. Now, We'll jump in front of a grenade for the man that's trying to eliminate us. We would literally jump in front of a grenade for the person that's trying to destroy us. Why did we start doing that? When did we start doing that? That's horrible. We trust the word of strangers. Well, here's the thing. When you trust the word of strangers over people you know, only because you're following the narrative of saying, well, all of these people on social media are saying it, so it must be true. You've already failed yourself because you're going down a road that don't make sense. I want to knock a lot of you guys off the live. That's all it was. You're following down a line that doesn't make a lot of sense. And you wonder, like, why they got so much energy towards Diddy that they don't have this energy for anybody else. You see, none of these people calling out Kanye West. Kanye West is probably way worse than Diddy. Kanye West was there watching the event where Jane goes to Vegas at a party. She was invited to go to the party because she knows she's been involved in round freak offs and she's there watching two adults get down, two performers, and it's the superstar who's there. Everybody assumes it's Kanye West and his wife because she was in there celebrating her birthday. That Bianca. So she's down for freak offs. And Kanye West is the most freakiest individual, that I knew, and I've talked about it on the Patreon. So before any charges come for Kanye West, we already know how Kanye is. And this was after the fact. Clive Davis don't do his bidding in the public. Like the stuff Clive does is so far behind closed doors. Like you don't even see Clive Davis. Can barely walk and move around. But Clive's all his activities and the things he's done, his acts and his days, that stuff would never get brought up. But he ain't the only one. Who was the president of Interscope Records? Who got Dr. Dre on a leash? We want to talk about him? The one that put Suge Knight in jail? The one that had Suge shot? The one, well, you want to talk about him? Right. Dr. Dre beat numerous of women. Um, he was forgiven, and they loved Dre. Chris Brown was forgiven by us. Jay-Z seems to be the only one that wants to hold it over his head forever. Nobody's saying Diddy can't come back and be into this thing, but it's going to be very toxic for anybody that stands around him right now. They're going to have years go by of him, doing things to reassure the public that, hey, I'm okay. It's okay to root for me. I'm good. I'm your friend to the end. I'm Diddy. Howdy ho. They need that to happen. You know what's actually happening though? Mm. There are so many people that gets it wrong more than the people that gets it right. Now, a secret deal has been made, I believe, and they're not going to tell us because of the change of direction. Normally, you see a change of direction like that, and then everybody is in agreement to what is needs to be done. Then that's when you know, okay, something's happened here, and it doesn't look as if, or appears to be, that it's going the way we came in the door looking. Now, when you start saying, what should people do? What should that person do? Oh, I think I need to do this. It's looked at to us as relatively crazy. Like we don't look to judge like everybody. Like there's so many people in the world that thinks that we need to walk around judging them 24 hours a day. It's like it's not that serious. People are happy if they see you. People are happy if they get to experience some time with you. But to sit back and say, oh, I need this person to survive, or I need this person to do certain things that I want to do. This person is exceptional to me, and oh, it's just waste of time. It's rhetoric. It's all it is noise. Was freak offs happening in the 90s? Freak offs was happening everywhere. It just wasn't as probably as freaky as it is today because people had a different code and standards. Like, shoot, when we were growing up, if someone was to give you a blowjob, do you understand how shaming that was in the community? You would be in, you would be looked at, a woman would be just demoralized if the news got out she was doing such acts. No one could know she was doing that. Guys going down on women, that was some only white people did. There was no way a black man would ever do something like that. That was ridiculous. These acts were different and definitely looked at, and you would be shamed out of the existence if this you were to do these acts back then. That's just shows you how quick standards have changed. People have standards that didn't go the way that the people's status quo or perception of how reality is. Those things happened. Well, the mystery remained to be a question. And that's what I always try to illustrate to people, that if you're able to make reality, then you always stand a good chance. I remember in 1994, Sean Diddy Combs was at Howard University during the Howard homecomings, and they were doing their usual. So he was this eager kid coming up, full of energy, full of ideas. And Biggie Small's name was called, at the time, Big, B-I-G. That was it. And Party and Bullshit was the song they were pushing. And it was on the Who's the Man soundtrack. And the artist's name was Big, B-I-G. You could probably look it up and see it. That was the only name they had for him. Now, there were so many different avenues of what took place. People didn't understand the illustrations of what they were seeing, but when you get introduced into a society, you can become absorbed till you are introduced to something for the very first time. Like, think of somebody who was introduced to smoking marijuana for the first time. How influential that is in their life. Because they say you never get a high like your first high. I wouldn't know. You know why? Because I've never smoked weed a day in my life. Never took a puff. Never grabbed a blunt. Never took a bowl. Never, ever have I ever puffed. But didn't inhale. Didn't do any of it. But someone actually called me a D-rider. Can you believe that? If that person actually knew me, I am the exact opposite of that. I possess 0 tattoos. There's no tattoos on my body, only scars. No tats. No drugs. No earrings. No ear piercings. No. Original man. Do you understand? That is how I moved my entire life. No smoke. Now, this is how society has put us all in a box. Oh yeah, because see, the nature takes over then. It's nature over nurture, right? How many of you are on my Patreon? How many of you are my Patreon members? Then you already know half these activities I've already told you about. And a lot of them don't have a lot to do with Diddy. I told you what happened to Kid Cudi with Kanye West. I told you about all these parties that went down. I've shown you photos from these actual parties. I've shown you some of these entertainers, how they are put into these parties. I showed you that some of these content creators have been turned out and been put in a platform, went through an initiation, getting their cheeks clapped just for some money because they want to make it so bad. They come in the game like that. And then they get all this sponsorship money. And they generate all the content and they get to live in somebody else's big house where they're in there with a whole bunch of other ones like them. And they all do crazy, weird stuff, play with each other's junk. It's sick. I wouldn't be in there for a minute around these groups. And they go online and they start grooming younger people, trying to influence them to be more like them. When has that ever been cool? When has that ever been all right to do? I speak out against it, and they come after me and flag me like I'm the one that did it. I said, what? I'm like, I'm the one telling the people to beware of people like that. And the person that actually did it, you did nothing to. So that tells me who the people are aligned to, where their alignments are. That's why if you go to my Twitter, the first thing you see on there that's pinned up is this dude out here, they're trying to groom a 15-year-old boy. See, that needed to get out. It got leaked out because it was supposed to be out. Imagine the stuff you didn't hear that they talk about on there with the other people and other kids. And they have these platforms where these kids are not supposed to be on, and they get on there and their parents don't know what they're online doing, and they're just being groomed. Yes. So no matter whomever is the one who comes up with the better $1 billion idea, it doesn't really matter. There's a world to fit in to get to that level. You don't get to Kanye's level. You don't get to Diddy's level without seeing and experiencing some things. They're not going to let you in that door because you're going to see these things happen in the areas in which you're going. So if you see that and you're uncomfortable with it, they're going to know right away because you're going to see some things you're going to have to ignore. Suge Knight had to see that, and he didn't care about it. A lot of people think Suge was secretly bi. I know a lot of people like that. Oh yeah, a lot of people think Suge Knight was bisexual. So a lot of people believe that in LA that I've spoken to. I mean, I didn't get the vibe off him when I met him, but I wasn't somebody that really hung out with Suge Knight all the time. He would be somewhere I was going, and he would speak to me because he knew I was connected to Floyd Mayweather. He didn't know in what way, but he knew he was trying to get to Floyd, showing up at the fights, just popping up, taking pictures. And it was like, is Suge part of the team? Like, why is Suge here? It's like Suge's just coming to be Suge. Yeah, well, I used to work for Don King Promotions, DKP. After the Floyd Mayweather fight with Zab Judah, that's when we made the connection. And from there, their future fights they were having here in Chicago, they were working with me. So I was not even really on the books. I was following Juan Gonzalez, who was the director of boxing for Don King Promotions at the time. And I was basically shadowing him. And this was when the company was like going down in flames. It was like, why do you want to work here? Like, why do you want to get in boxing? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You see, there's so much going on that y'all just don't know that you're not privy to. Like, I asked y'all to look that name up to find out who that person was that you don't really know. And you'll see there's a certain group or cult or religion or faction that's in charge of all of it. They're the ones that introduce people to this lifestyle and want to bring out their most inhibitions. Kanye West has always been like this. He just kept it mostly hidden until he decides to dig it up for his convenience. Well, everyone wants to party hard until there's no need for them to do so. So when you start seeing other people that didn't screw up or make it a unanimous thing to go out and have a moment, like what other people think is a moment for them, they don't care. These people are not in the business of caring. Now, when people have issues, no, there's no version of you making it to that level of success and just not being, especially in the industry, being up that high without seeing that. They will expose it to you, even if you lived your life of not seeing it. And if you react a certain way, then you'll be like, Chance the Rapper. Yes, Chance the Rapper was shown some things. A lot of people thought Chance the Rapper was out here in that world getting down. I'm going to tell you some things that you guys probably don't know. Chance the Rapper, well, you guys know his family is pretty political on the left side, Democratic Party. You know this already, right? LL Cool J never says he, she. He said, is she? Is she? It's just you have idiots that want to make moments on social media, so they create a narrative. It doesn't exist. He didn't say he, she. It says, is she blotitious? Skeevy, delicious. That's how the lyrics went. Skeevy is not Stevie. It's just people on the internet being the internet. So it's hilarious that people would go in that route. But you don't get to this level without being exposed to this because that group will expose it to you to see how you react. The Wu Tang member who saw that kicked in, and they wanted him to see it just to see how he react when he saw that. His reaction let him know that Okay, we will never bring him back here. And he never was allowed back in that circle again because he knew, I was not invited into anything because of how I reacted. I didn't even get to go to the party. I reacted at the dinner table. I didn't get to go to nothing after that. You're right, Jared. I was not invited to anything else because that was like my first time out in Cali, like Hollywood, like that. So when you see that, it'll blow your mind for the first time. You're like seeing it, they're looking like aliens, people with all this plastic surgery. I mean, this woman had so much Botox in her lips, like, and her face was all suck in, and she was looking like the Who Framed Roger Rabbit in the face with them lips. The girl, Jessica Rabbit, she was just like, had so much makeup on. She was white lady, super skinny. Like she just ordered the water. Let me order some water. She just came out. I was like, oh, did you see that? Oh, wait. You see her eyes? Dog, it's like, what happened? Her eyes is like this big, dog. Like, damn, what she do? And they got the damn cheek fillers. They cheekbones is way up here. They faces suck in. And they all go to dinner and don't eat. They get like a leaf, a plant, a plant leaf, and that's it. And they got weird restaurants, and they be like, man, it's like $200 a plate, charity, at a minimum. Then it was $1,000 plate minimum. The money goes to charity. I'm like, so we eating for charity? Then they had another one that we couldn't afford to go to, and our buddy was paying for us to go, and I'm like, I don't want to go to that. And then it was like an after party hangout thing where they went to audition and just be cool. And this party was giving the seating money for the movie Good Burger, and they just was auditioning right there, pretty much like doing the roles. And I'm just like, I don't know about this place. And I don't know about that. That's a movement. It's just not for me. But what I did learn is that there's a clergy system. Each table represents a class. So a higher element, whoever is sitting at your table, that's the level that you're at. In Hollywood, that's the table. You won't see anybody really higher than you sitting with you. Once they become bigger, they no longer associate with you. They will see you in passing and go, hey, how you doing? And that's it. But there is no fraternizing, no real interaction. They're not showing up at your events. They can't. And you're supposed to understand that. And if you don't, you're the person that got it wrong. Like, you're in the wrong. Because you should understand that you got to get to this level in order for me to deal with you again. So you got to come up here to where I'm at. It's weird to explain it to you, But if you can understand it, then you will understand Hollywood. That's how it works. Who's ever sitting at your table, those are the people you're associated with right now. And if one of y'all make it to the top, you know how they say, if I make it, I'm taking all y'all with me. It's not necessarily true. Some of the people you're sitting at that table with, they don't really like you that much. They're sitting at the table because that's just where they are. We're all at the same level. So if I make it, I'm only going to take somebody I'm cool with, 100%. And that's how Nick Cannon blew up. Nick Cannon went to the top. He came back and took Keenan with him. Like, Keenan's coming with me. Nobody else. So Kenan Thompson was the one, he helped him get the role for Fat Albert. He helped Keenan get a lot of things going in his career. And when he got Saturday Night Live, you know, he had the backing of Nick and everyone else. So, and then Keenan and Kel both were, you know, they fell out with each other, you know, and then they got back together the way they should have been because they have great comedic timing. Like, some people are just great to work with each other, and it's them, you know. But they was introduced to this lifestyle. They were introduced to this world where everything is for free. Like, they can introduce you and get you involved in all of this madness that's in the world today, the filth, and just it's all laid out. Oh, Jay-Z? What old Jigga Man do? Oh, I'll tell you what old Jigga Man did. The Jigga Man said, hey, you know what'd be cool? Jigga Man took a whole new route. I would say it's more or less. It's more or less the reason that you see somebody doing something that other people don't agree upon. You know, it's more or less. Definitely hit the like button, good people. So I want y'all to have very good vibes. No, because if you're not, let's say you go up to the top, right? And you tell that person, like, hey, man, where you been at? I ain't did that. And he be like, oh, I've been busy. I've been doing all this. When they blow you off, they blow you off. Like, they'll say, oh, I got to read today. Yeah, I got to read. Yeah, at 3 o'clock. But I'll call you after. Yeah, we'll get up this weekend. That call is never happening. They're never getting up with you this weekend. They just want you out of their face. You're not getting that call. You can call them all you want. They're not answering. That's Hollywood. That's how it works. Oh my God, my agent. My agent messed that up. I had to do a thing. The thing is not. It doesn't exist. It's just something they make up. Oh, I had to do a thing this week. What's the thing? They don't say. And you're not to ask. And if you confront them with this, You blown me off and you haven't done nothing like this. You're the bad person. Why are you coming at me like this? This is very surprising, this attack. And you're the bad person. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep my distance. I was attacked. And that's how it works. It's Hollywood, man. It's a weird place to explain. But there's a hierarchy. And that's one thing I was able to notice while I was there, to see the tables and see how people interacted with each other. Like that, those people at that table never like really talk to the people at this table. And the people at this table, they don't associate with nobody over at that table. But everybody in here know each other or know of each other. This is weird. It's like being at a wedding and everybody's sitting at the table and your side, that's the family. Like the aunties are sitting at one table, the cousins are sitting at one table, but the cousins can't go talk to the aunties. It's like really weird. Well, because see, everybody wants to be different. Because when you're different, you're unique. You bring some value to the table. Now, let's get into the grease before we get to the Patreon. Shall we? This is what the Patreon is about. We're about exposing you to the cultures of things that are changing around the world today and how it's supposed to be moving throughout. So if you're on my Carcino for Life Patreon, get ready because it's going down. Sign up now because you ain't going to want to miss this. The founders of Grindr, Pornhub, RedTube, Sherbot, X videos, all of them, the entire industry is a hookup culture ran by a certain organization of people. Okay? And those people just happen to be Jewish. And